Hey there folks, it's Blue here at Blue Bears Games, and over the next 2 days I will be unboxing and then upgrading the Wilds of Eldraine Virtue and Valor Commander precon. Before we get started, let me get this out of the way first. That if you'd like to help support my channel, you can do so in the following ways. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share any of my content on your socials so other people can discover it, and or watch some of my many other videos yourself. In addition to that, if you're interested in ways that you can help support my channel monetarily, please read the description of this video, and there you will find a myriad of options for what you can do to help me keep this channel going. Anything that you can do to help is greatly appreciated, and I thank you for it. Now with that out of the way, let's begin. Today's video will be the unboxing of the precon, where I will show you everything that comes in the box, including the deck card by card, and then tomorrow I will release the upgrade guide, where I'll show you some options on what I believe you should take out and add back in to help make this deck play a little better. To start this off, let's look at the suggested commander, Ellivere of the Wild Court. Ellivere is 1 white, 1 green, and 2 generic mana to cast for a 4/4 legendary human knight with 2 abilities. The first ability says, whenever Ellivere of the Wild Court enters the battlefield or attacks, create a Virtuous Role token attached to another target creature you control. Creating a Virtuous Role token means that if you control another role on that creature, put that role into the graveyard, and the enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. The second ability says that whenever an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. From what I can see from these 2 abilities, this deck appears that it will have some type of enchantment/aura-based theme, but honestly I'm not 100% sure since Ellivere's abilities seem a little too obtuse. I am a fan of enchantment-based themes, but I'm not really sold on Ellivere being the best option for that theme. I also don't know if there are any sub-themes either, so I guess the only way to know for sure is to rip this bad boy open and see what's in the box. So here is the box for the actual package. It's a little different than the previous ones that I've opened on this channel. It's a lot smaller. I'm assuming it's to help environmentally friendly packaging, whatever the case. It's no longer got the cutout in the front with the foil version of, on a piece of cardboard foil version of the commander on the front and sticking out anymore. Now it's on the back, but it's not the same size as a card. Some people I know like to cut them out and use them. I don't know how. I tried doing it. It just didn't work out. So this is going to be the first time I open a package like this, so I don't really know what to expect. So let's just do it and see what we got. It still has a ripcord at least, and it's a lot smaller packaging. So I don't know if it's going to have all the little extra doodads it used to have. Alright, so it does not have the commander in a foil version on the side, and then it actually is a little different. It has a slide out spot. And now the tokens are placed on a little thing here on the back instead, which is kind of interesting. No longer is it on the sides and not a lot more packaging. So I'll poke them out later and see. I don't know what those are for, but at least we got some +1/+1 counters. Anything missing in here? Oh, all the extra stuff looks to come in a pouch now. So that includes the Collector's Booster Sample Pack, the Life Wheel, and then the box, which, of course, sadly, we went back to the side view boxes, but they're a little different now. Instead of having the flip down, it now has a tuck in. So, I mean, these might be better, actually, than the original side view ones. So, not bad. That's an improvement, at least. And then we've got the insert. Open that up, show you that real quick. Again, it has a little bit about the deck, the extra commander rules, and then on the back, it's just a little summary, I guess, of the commander here. So, throw this aside again, and we'll do the other stuff. So, we're here for the deck. I'll get to that in a second. First, we'll start off with a Wilds of Eldraine Collector Sample Pack. And I'm going to zoom this so it's easier to see. Oh, and the sample pack isn't as big as it used to be either. That's cool. Alright, let's take a look at what we get. Alright, first one is Gilwain, Casting Director with Borderless. And the second card is a foil Vampiric Rites in the Enchanting Tales treatment. That's cool. I actually just did a deck last week that I have a Vampiric Rites in, so it looks like this is going to be an upgrade for it.
Not bad. I don't know what the monetary value of any of that is, but we'll find out as I have it floating up there on the screen for you. So we're here for the deck. Let's open it up and take a look at what came with this deck. If I can get to the little part that opens. Does not appear so, so I'll just go from the side. There we go. Finally got it open. Split the deck up to make it easier to show everybody. Alright, so here is the commander. I've already gone over what this does. This is the thick version, so they've obviously oriented the decks in the packaging differently. This used to be in the back. So now both versions of Ellivere are on the front. The secondary commander that they suggest, and it looks like I gotta zoom just a little bit more, is Gawain, which I just got in the Collector's Booster sample pack. Next, we have a Liberated Livestock. It's 6 to cast, 4/6 Bird Ox. It says, when it dies, create a 1/1 cat creature token with lifelink, a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying, and a 2/4 white ox creature token. For each of those tokens, you may put an aura card from your hand and or graveyard onto the battlefield attached to it. I mean, depending on what the rest of this deck does, that could be quite amusing. Next up is Ox Drover. It's a 4 to cast, 4/4 with Vigilance. Ox Drover can't be blocked by Oxen. Whenever Ox Drover enters the battlefield or attacks, target opponent creates a 2/4 white Ox creature token, and you draw a card. What are we going? Ox Tribal here? Songbird's Blessing, 4 to cast, Aura Enchantment. It enchants a creature, and it gives the enchanted creature, whenever it attacks, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an Aura card. You may put that card onto the battlefield, and if you don't, put it into your hand. Put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. Alright, next is Unfinished Business. It looks like they're getting out of the way all the non-reprints, but I don't know. They've done a little bit of different orientation for the packaging now. Unfinished Business is 5 to cast for a sorcery that says return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, then return up to 2 target aura and or equipment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to that creature. Okay, for 5, that's not bad, actually. Giant Inheritance, 5 to cast, Aura Enchantment. It enchants a creature, and it gives it +5/+5, and has, whenever this creature attacks, create a monster roll token attached to 1 target attacking creature. And then it also has, when it is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. So self-returning. Knick Knack Oof, 1 green and X for a 1/1, and it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. And whenever it enters the battlefield, you reveal the top X cards of your library, and you may put any number of aura cards with a mana value of X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield on the bottom of your library in a random order. Very, very aura-centric here. Loam Crafter Fawn, 3 to cast, 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you may discard 1 or more land cards, and when you do, return up to that many target non-land permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Timber Paladin, 2 to cast, 1/1. As long as it is enchanted by exactly 1 aura, it has a base power and toughness of a 3/3. And as long as it is enchanted by exactly 2 auras, it has a base power and toughness of 5/5. And then the last thing says, as long as it's enchanted by 3 or more auras, it has a base power and toughness 10, 10 vigilance, and trample. Okay, interesting. Johnny's Chosen, that is a reprint. Very good reprint for a deck like this. Angelic Destiny, not really one of my favorite auras to use, but I guess. Archon of the Sun's Grace, I just did a deck with this as a centerpiece. I love this card. Austere Command for some board wipe action. Celestial Archon, this is a reprint as well. Ooh, Daybreak Coronet. Okay, small little story time. I've been wanting one of these forever. I just haven't wanted to spend the money for them. I'm a huge Hexproof Auras fan, and I've wanted this for that deck that I make my partner. She actually does play the Hexproof Auras deck for me, and I love this card. I'm glad to actually finally own one. Eidolon of Countless Battles. Core Spirit Dancer for some card draw. Mantle of the Ancients. Realm Cloaked Giant. I mean, I get it. And not really. Unless there's more giants in here, this is probably a removal for when I do the upgrade guide. Retether. Shalai, Voice of Plenty. I actually want to build a $40 budget commander deck around Shalai at some point. Starfield Mystic. Reduces costs of aura spells, or enchantment spells, not just auras, all enchantment spells. Sun Titan. I think every white deck that's been made from Wizards for the last 5 years has a Sun Titan in it. Timely Ward. Tithe Taker. Umbra Mystic. Winds of Wrath. This is actually a great inclusion for this deck. Destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted. I actually use this in my Yoral deck. Bear Umbra. Although Totem Armor is no longer a thing, it's now something else. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they changed Totem Armor to something. It's the same ability with a different name. Eidolon of Blossoms. I used to make a lot of budget $20, like 60 card decks centered around Eidolon of Blossoms because I had like a stack of them. Foil ones too. Enchantress's Presence, an enchantment that allows you to draw cards whenever you cast an enchantment. Indomitable Might, so an aura that buffs up the creature quite mightily. Rishkar's Expertise for card draw, because green doesn't have a lot of it. No Harmonize, I haven't seen one yet, but that would have been nice too. Sanctum Weaver, this is actually a really, really good card for enchantment-based decks. Really good ramp. Citizen Champion. Verdant Embrace. Canopy Vista, so at least it has land types. It's a really nice budget dual land. Castle Ardenvale for some token creation. Fortified Village, more budget dual lands. Hall of Heliod's Generosity is actually a really good card. I like this card a lot. It's nice to see that was included in a standard set commander deck. Sungrass Prairie, Filterland, Temple of Plenty. I've begged and begged and begged to please replace temples with something, anything else. Checklands, they're cheap enough. Please start using checklands, not the temples. Danitha, Capation, Paragon. Of course, in Ethereal Armor. I wonder if we're going to see all of the little R's that White has that do that kind of thing. Generous Gifts for removal. Sage's Reverie. Spectral Steel. It's actually pretty good. Swords to Plowshares for really nice targeted removal. Transcendent Envoy for our cost reduction. Ancestral Mask. Our Gnarlid. This is looking quite similar to the Siona deck that I put together for a customer. Second half of the deck. Careful Cultivation. Destiny Spinner. Not bad. Fertile Ground. I'm not a fan of the Aura Enchant Land ramp, but I guess in this deck it makes sense. Kenris Transformation. Paradise Druid. At least that's real ramp. Snake Umbra. Sylvan Ranger. Utopia Sprawl. That's actually a pretty pricey reprint for a common. Maybe it's not anymore. Warbriar Blessing. Jukai Naturalist. It is cost reduction for enchantments. Pollen Bright Wings. That's probably a removal for the upgrade guide. Oh, there's Siona. Shocker. Like I said, a lot of this deck resembles the Siona deck I made for a customer, so I'm not shocked to see Siona in there. Arcane Signet. Soul Ring. Command Tower. Crozian Verge. Myriad Landscape. Vitu-Ghazi, the City Tree. Cool. I don't think I have one of them. That's nice. Tangle Span Lookout. Whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. That's actually pretty good. It's an uncommon that does that. Seer Armont, the Redeemer. I don't know how these are done, so it feels like a lot of lands if this is all the lands, but we'll take a look. It's all forests. Then we got plains. Yeah, it was. Okay, so they did reconfigure the package to have all the rares in the front, and then they go backwards in rarity from there. Again, this is the first time opening one of the newer precons, so bear with me. And then, of course, the tokens, pirate tokens, fairy tokens, copy tokens. What's on the back side here? Oh, the rolls. I'm not shocked there. Sap tokens, and human and Pegasus and human soldier tokens.
And that, folks, is what is in the Virtue and Valor Wilds of Eldraine Commander precon. I would like to comment about the new packaging and the configuration of the contents real quick. I like a lot of the new changes that they've made. The packaging being smaller makes them easier to store, so that's a plus. The counters included, however, were fewer and half the thickness, making them easier to bend now, but that's not really that big of a deal. I also really like the fact that they put all of the non-land, mythic, and rare cards in front, beginning with all the new cards to the game that were specific to this box, rather than just spreading them all out higgledy-piggledy. However, the biggest change that they made is the one that I'm most happy about. The new horizontal deck box did not suck. The change from the ones with the crappy glue to a box that's just like the vertical one that just turned horizontally is much better in my opinion and was a much needed change. If you've watched any of my personal deck videos, you would know that I prefer the horizontal or Sidewinder style deck boxes, so this is a nice surprise. Kudos to you, Wizards. You finally made a lot of positive changes to your Commander product. As far as the actual deck, I'm a fan. I love enchantment-based decks, and this one has a lot of good cards included in the box for that theme. I noticed that the sub-theme was tokens, but I'm not really sure this was the best place to use that theme. I'm also not sold on Ellivere as the commander, and there were a couple of inclusions that did not advance the theme of the deck that I just don't get why they were in there. But not to worry, I'll be fixing some of those issues in tomorrow's upgrade guide, so be sure to join me for that. Well folks, that's all for this video, but please go browse my channel and take a look at some of my many other videos. I know that you'll find some that you like, and be sure to check back tomorrow for the upgrade guide. Before you go, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Have a great day, and I hope to see you tomorrow.